Alright, here are my system specs and driver version. Alright, so the first game I'm going to be testing out is the Callisto Protocol, just because it's a DirectX 12 game, so I thought it'd be interesting to see how well it runs, especially after all the patches and stuff it's gotten. It actually runs pretty differently than when it first came out. So I'm just going to be testing out at 1440p, VSync off, HDR off, all the settings maxed out, ray tracing maxed out, effects, temporal anti-aliasing, no upscaling, and we're just going to see what the low benchmark scene is like. I've noticed with the benchmark scene, it doesn't seem pretty. It's kind of all over the place. Like, it's not really that representative of the actual performance you're going to get in games. But that's still pretty surprising performance for 1440p native with all the ray tracing maxed out. We are running right up to the limits of VRAM right now. You can see it's at 95%, 7.5 gigabytes used. I don't know how accurate that is for how much it actually needs, but okay, that's not too bad. I'm interested to see what the actual game is like, because, like I said, the benchmark is kind of all over the place sometimes. Yeah, you can see it said what was the benchmark, like 80-something FPS, and this is definitely down towards what the lower end of the benchmark was getting. Still, for just completely maxing out all the settings, this is a pretty demanding game, even after all the patches. Oh man, yeah, I think it's actually running out of VRAM here, just because of how badly it dips when you look in a new direction. Yeah, of course you can't edit the settings from the main menu, or from anywhere but the main menu, I mean. So let's just start some upscaling. This game only really has FSR. Leave all those maxed out. Lighting. Is there low? No, sorry. Just medium ray tracing. Honestly, I think those two things by itself should get us somewhere kind of playable, but we'll see. Okay, yeah, we're all the way up at 50 FPS now. Not quite at 60, but I mean it's a pretty consistent consistent frame times. I do think we were getting running over the 8 gigabytes of VRAM there for a little bit, because it's not like crashing down to like 10 FPS like it was just a second ago. Even with ray traced medium, ray tracing in this game is still pretty good. I mean, this isn't the most high-speed game, so I don't know. This is within my variable refresh rate range, so it doesn't feel like too horrible, and motion blur is doing a lot to hide the low frame rate right now. But I'd like to stay at least above 50. This wouldn't be a too bad way to play the game, I don't think. Yeah, it's dipping into the 30s at some points, which is definitely not fantastic on mouse and keyboard. There's definitely more demanding demanding areas of the game, like that the first prison area. Really sucks that you have to go back to the menu to change the settings. I do want to see how it is fighting. Ooh, that was a big stutter there. You can see it on the frame trend graph. Oof. Yeah, now it's really falling. I don't know if it's just a more demanding area. It's definitely not CPU bottleneck.
Wait a minute.
I'm going in circles. All right, let's see if we can get a little bit something more modest in terms of settings. I don't think changing the ray tracing settings is going to affect too much in this game. I think we're running into other bottlenecks. Let's leave. Yeah, you don't really want to lower any of those. Those on. I really don't want to turn off ray tracing, because the reflections look very nice, but I've just gotten used to playing with it on, so maybe it'll be fine. Let's keep the shadows on, because the ray trace shadows look really nice with all the flashing lights. We'll turn it all off. Yeah, we'll go down to medium. Okay. So with ray tracing off, I turned down volumetrics just a little bit because that can be pretty heavy. I like to leave all the textures on high in this game. It seemed like we were within our VRAM budget. We definitely are now with ray tracing turned off. Ray tracing would probably be okay to leave on if you went down to balanced FSR, which looks okay at 1440p in this game. But I still don't think you'd be able to hit above 60 FPS like we are now. Seems pretty locked in. Let's see though, because we did get a little bit worse performance as I went through this area. Wonder if that was a that might have been a shader compilation stutter, because it didn't happen when this guy appeared the second time. That stutter I had running through here.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, this is much better. Quality FSR pretty much maxed out, except with no ray tracing and no volumetric lighting turned down a little bit. Overall, for a card that's $200, pretty much getting a nearly maxed out 60 FPS experience on one of the more demanding games of 2023 really isn't that, like, I feel like that's pretty acceptable. I mean, obviously this is a game that's more aligned with, like, ARC being newer, DirectX 12. I know they've done a couple of patches specifically for this game, but that's still pretty nice to see. I think if I only had an ARC GPU, or the a750 at least, I would be
That's not right.
I wouldn't feel like I needed to replay this game again or anything when I got a more powerful GPU. This is pretty close to the experience. The ray trace lighting and stuff sucks. I do, you know, let's see real quick if we can get either just the reflections or just shadows. I want to see. Lighting. Yeah, ray trace shadows. Yeah. It's one of the more impactful games, I feel like, for ray trace shadows. A lot of times ray trace shadows kind of look like shit, but there's so much dynamic lighting in this game that like between your flashlight and just like blinking lights, you can see it a lot on the doors. I feel like it adds a lot of depth. Yeah, we did lose our 60 FPS. But I mean, it's pretty stable. We're not seeing it like crash down like it was before, which I do think was some kind of VRAM problem. And as long as you have a variable refresh rate screen, you really won't notice it going from 60 to 50. Now it's at 45. You wouldn't notice that. Yeah, I do think asking for ray tracing is just a little bit too much in this game for the a750. I think you would either have to upscale more, maybe at 1080p using quality FSR, so you'd be like rendering at like 720p or whatever. You could get away with ray tracing, probably be closer to 60, but that's interesting. Yes, yeah, I had the stutter again. Not sure why. Maybe because I changed the graphics settings. I don't know. Yeah, now we're really. Oh man, yeah, look at that. Oof. Just. Yeah, we were at a very nice 60 to 75 FPS here before. Now it's just tanking down to like even below 40 at times. That's unfortunate.
Wait a minute.
All right, I think I've seen enough. Yeah, definitely a little bit too much to play this game with ray tracing, but overall, not a bad experience. Definitely would not feel bad to have to turn ray tracing off on a game like this on a $200 card. And you don't even really have to turn it off if you wanted to play. Like, you could probably get a pretty solid 30 FPS ray tracing on kind of like console experience. Maybe if you were playing with a controller or something, that would be fine. Alright, hope you liked the video. I'm going to be doing more like this in the future, where I kind of look at more of like the gameplay feel versus like, oh, I got, you know, 45 FPS average and 30 FPS 1% lows going through this test scene. You know, just messing with the settings, you know, just seeing what's playable, what isn't. I'm going to do some VR benchmarks in the future. I'm going to do some Linux benchmarks in the future. And yeah, that's it.